Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week I'm going to be doing a what we eat in a week video. So I'm just going to be taking the camera around and showing you the different meals that we had in our home this week. Now, some of these meals are for lunch and some are for dinner. I just try to film about one meal a day. Sometimes I get both. It just depends on the day and how things are going at mealtime. Alright, so for lunch today I'm making chicken marsala. So I just went ahead and put my chicken in some flour with some salt and pepper and some garlic. And I'm just going to pan fry it here, and then I will make my chicken marsala sauce. All right, so now I'm just slicing up a few mushrooms. They're gonna go in my sauce while my chicken is searing. Okay, I'm also going to add in a bag of peas to this and add it in just a vegetable and just to kind of make this go a little bit further. So now I'm just going to let this simmer to let the mushrooms and peas cook and kind of the sauce thicken. I'll add my chicken back in for a few minutes and then this will be ready to serve. All right, so I'm in the kitchen today. I'm making up a couple of meals. I am going to be doing a big pot of chicken soup for dinner tonight. I have some of my family coming over. We're gonna be making some Christmas cookies. I think this video is gonna be going live after Christmas, but right now while I'm filming it is before Christmas time. So I just cooked up a whole chicken in my Instapot, and I'm going to be getting the meat off of the bone for my big pot of chicken soup later. And I also have the broth in there from the meat, and I will use that in my soup. I love making chicken in my Instapot for soups because it just comes right off the bone and it makes some really good meat for a soup or a casserole, or even for like shredded tacos, chicken tacos or something like that. All right, so now that I have all of my meat off the bones, I'm gonna put the bones back into my Instapot. And I also pulled out some chicken bones that I had frozen in the freezer from the last time I made a chicken. And I'm just going to run this again on the soup cycle just to make some more broth for my soup. And because I'm not making this until tonight, I'll have plenty of time to let that go throughout the day to get the broth going. All right, so I'm just adding in some more water. I already put a bunch of seasonings in here when I made my chicken, salt, pepper, some garlic, a bay leaf, and I'm going to add in some apple cider vinegar. That just helps to pull some more of that good marrow from the bones to make a more nutritious bone broth. And so I'm going to run this, like I said, just throughout the day today to get some more broth. That later I'll be adding the chicken and some potatoes, onions, carrots, celery, peas back into this to make a soup. Okay, so and since it is lunchtime, I'm gonna go ahead and work on lunch as well. I have some leftover chicken marsala from the meal that I made yesterday. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut this chicken up into little pieces, and I'm going to make some more marsala sauce just with some cream, flour, salt, and pepper. And I'm going to boil up some egg noodles and just make a pasta for lunch today, because this won't be enough for our whole family, but there is several pieces of chicken in there. So I think that with the noodles and a little extra sauce, maybe I'll do some more peas and mushrooms, I'll be able to stretch a meal out of this. At least that's my goal here. So I'm just going to work on that now so that lunch is going to be ready. All right, so for this white sauce I'm doing for our pasta, I'm just doing some butter, garlic, and cream. I'm gonna add in some salt and pepper and some Italian seasonings. And I'm just gonna let this simmer for just a few minutes and then add in some cheese to this, freshly grated Parmesan cheese. And then this will be the sauce that I serve over top of the leftover chicken from yesterday and the egg noodles. Okay, so now I'm just going to add in the chicken and vegetables and marsala sauce that I made yesterday into this just to kind of warm it up and get it all mixed together. And I will serve this over top of the egg noodles when everything is all warmed up. Alright, so now that I have lunch out of the way, I'm going to continue working on the soup for dinner. So I'm just chopping up some celery and carrots and onions, and I'm going to peel and dice up some potatoes to go back into the broth that I'm making and add in the chicken that I shredded earlier. Alright, so I'm just adding all of the vegetables and chicken right back into the Instapot. And I'm just going to turn on the saute mode to allow it to come to a boil, just to cook the vegetables. Alright, right, now that the vegetables, the potatoes, carrots, and celery are almost cooked through, I'm going to add in a bag of frozen peas, a bag of frozen cauliflower rice, and then I'm also going to add the chicken back into the broth here. All right, so this meal I'm just going to be making a roast in my Dutch oven. I like to start off by heating up some oil in my Dutch oven and searing the roast on all 4 sides. After the roast is all seared, I remove it from the pan and I add in some tomato paste, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, some white wine vinegar, and also some sugar. I just stir all this up and then add in a little bit of water. This makes a really nice brine to cook the roast in. Then I add the roast back into the Dutch oven and then I just put it in the oven and let it bake at 350 for about an hour. Once the roast baked for about an hour, I removed it and added in some baby carrots and new potatoes and put the lid back on and let it bake for an additional 45 minutes or until the carrots and potatoes are soft. All right, so for this meal, I have some pork steaks defrosted. And so I'm just going to bread them in a little bit of flour, some salt and pepper, and some other seasonings. I only actually have 2 pork steaks out right now. And so I also have some bratwurst that I have defrosting. So I'm gonna do the bratwurst for the kids. And I'm gonna do the pork steaks for me and my husband. So I'm gonna put in some like paprika and red hot pepper flakes. It's just some things to make it a little bit spicier. And then I'm just gonna fry them here on my cast iron skillet here on the stove top. And then I'm going to serve this with some mashed potatoes, probably some avocados. This is one of those meals I'm kind of making up as I go. So we'll see what else I decide to put with this meal. All right, so I'm gonna get my bratwurst started. My sister does hogs, and We got a whole hog from her maybe like a month or two ago. And this time, for the first time, I got some bratwurst, and it has been so fun. They are so good, and they make such an easy meal. So I find the best way to do it is to just boil them first for, I don't know, maybe like 10 minutes, pretty much to cook them through. And then I put them on my cast iron skillet once they get hot to sear them and kind of brown the outsides. And then these are just so good just on their own. And in fact, we did a picnic at the park a little while ago, and I just brought bratwurst because it's kind of like an oversized like meat stick. It was a good snack for the kids to kind of like fill them up, and just better than some of the other things I could have packed for them. They're pretty convenient, and they can just grab one and eat it. So I'm sure it's weird. People probably thought I was weird eating bratwurst at the park. But my kids all are huge eaters, and if they don't have something filling, then they just completely they're hungry. So that worked out pretty good. So making a bunch of bratwurst. With any luck, this will be lunch and dinner today. Any of the recipes that are on our blog, I will link down in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this gave you some good meal inspiration. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. I get out new videos every single week.